The fourth season of the American animated series Castlevania is all set to be premiered on the 13th of May 2021. The excitement seems to be hustling, which is why we have tried to give you a brief recap of all the previous seasons together. In a few minutes, your memory will be up to date with the plot and exclusive action. So, as your host, the Spoiler King, I will give you a quick recap of Castlevania. So as usual, before we begin, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to never miss a video from us. And after this point, there are some huge spoilers ahead. Releasing originally in 2017, we are taken to Romanian town Wallachia. It's 1455 and we are introduced to the life of Vlad Dracula Tepes and Lisa. 20 years pass with them happily married until one day the town's bishop insinuates Lisa of witchcraft and burns her down. This news leaves Dracula devastated, who pledges to take revenge upon the town itself. Refusing to be rational, he also brings down Adrian, his son. Ultimately, he gathers his army and orders to kill every person in the town and also kills the revered archbishop. This season also introduced another main and noble character, Trevor Belmont. It was him and Elder's granddaughter, Sypha Belnades, who went on a search for the sleeping soldier in the deeper regions of catacombs.
The man who will save us from Dracula.
Leaving one surprised, we came to know this soldier is actually Adrian, also known as Alucard, who was resting and healing. It ends with the trio then deciding to challenge Dracula and his army to eventually wrest the dispute. Leaving one anxious for more than a year, Netflix took out the second season. This season focused mainly on the evil figure of the series, with all their plans into action. One saw Lisa's strife with the churches just before she was taken down to be burned alive.
Destroy everything in this room.
In the current time, Dracula was seen to create his war assembly. Godbrand objected against the human necromancers, Hector and Isaac, to lead the war under Dracula's tutelage. But Dracula disagreed with him. Godbrand is also pretty disappointed with Dracula's war strategies of making every human vanish from the face of the town. A divide between Dracula and other vampires occurs, with Carmilla and Godbrand.
And yet, my lord.
The vampires were dissatisfied with the slaughtering of the entire human race, which would leave them hungry. Although Godbrand dies at the hands of Isaac, and Carmilla forms her own army in an attempt to overthrow Dracula. One would have imagined Dracula as the main villain, but it is actually Carmilla. Carmilla is scornful towards his ways and seems to dictate him. Carmilla now tries to manipulate Hector into joining her forces, who also seems hesitant about Dracula's ways. The two of them find Dracula unfit to lead the war, and tired of growing hungry, they set out for blood to another village. The famous and powerful trio had plans to stop the castle from teleporting from one place to another. To stop this difficulty, they set out to find any way to prevent this. They go to the old Belmont mansion as it had enough knowledge on monsters. On the way, they have a rift with a few of the vampire's men, killing all except Isaac. The trio reaches an underground library hidden in the castle. Alucard feels anxious seeing the vast number of monster hunter weapons and vampires preserves. Trevor stumbles upon a mirror that could magically see things far away, and Sypha finds an incomplete locking spell that would help them to prevent the castle from teleportation. Hector and Carmilla joins hands completely, as she warns him on turning her back against her. His knight's creature reaches the Belmont state and creates chaos in a break-in attempt. The trio's strength and teamwork are all seen as Trevor fights the demon, Alucard searches for the castle using the mirror, and Sypha tries to make the spell a success. I love how the action scenes gave me goosebumps. The unraveling of the scenes and fight between the two divided forces is what makes the episode even more interesting. Successful in their charms, the trio now is teleported themselves into the castle to fight off any remaining vampires in the hall. A great face-off occurs between father and son. Feeling guilty and heartbroken, Dracula lets Alucard stake him through his heart. Beheaded and burned, his only remains were his marriage ring. This season ends with Alucard left alone and Trevor and Sypha on a journey to defeat more monsters. Isaac goes crazy and begins to build his first personal force, and Hector, on the other hand, has been shackled by Carmilla. Her evil desires still haven't come to an end, as she wants to use Hector to get the best of herself. Alucard seems to feel even more isolated than before as he misses his friends. One is pitiful towards his condition, finding it funny but also sad. But one day, two vampire hunters, Taka and Sumi, came from Japan to visit him. As they share life stories with Alucard, they request him to be their teacher. Although they do end up being treacherous towards him, just how Dracula had faced. On the bright side, he finally gets some company. Carmilla and her council of sisters, Leonie, Striga and Morana, have completely taken over Hector. Although treated cruelly, he deserved it. Carmilla made plans of besieging a part of Eastern Europe and treat humans as a mere fluke. Leonie made further evil plans into imprisoning Hector forever. Luring him with her charms, she tricks him into wearing a ring that will cause him pain if he tried to act smart. Isaac, who was there in Northern Africa, was setting plans on avenging Dracula. He comes across a woman, Miranda, who promises that her mirror will transfer him and his army to Styria easily.
I was able to frighten them away from me.
On the other hand, Trevor and Sypha, who continued hunting monster down, came to Lindenfeld. They came to know about Visitor's incident and how since then, common townfolk were not allowed in the priory. He seems to have taken over the monks who since then had been acting suspiciously. The Visitor was seen to be pierced to a wall while he was alive. It was now their job to uncover this mystery. Germain takes the help of the two in finding the portal to the infinite corridor. The three plans to take down the monks and help in opening the corridor. As they fight, countless demons emerges from the priory and the visitors open up the portal to hell. A vision of Dracula and Lisa is seen there. They end up defeating them and shutting the portal forever. A terrifying legacy about the judge was revealed, where he would kill children and place their shoes as trophies. Trevor and Sypha leave Lindenfeld after burning it down.
He was the judge.
The audience is left with great excitement as the scene closes with Alucard standing over the transfixed bodies of Taka and Sumi. His face shows that he has developed into a different character, as it ends up by saying that he could have placed big threatening signs, but he chose to keep the bodies as a warning. What is going to happen to the new Alucard? What will he choose to be now? And how will his former companion react? Well, we have no other choices but to wait. Tune in on 13th of May to get all your doubts cleared. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please hit the like button, and for more such content like this, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.